Well, hey everybody. It happened just a few seconds ago. Apparently, I'm now checking the NFL website to see the update, but I came across my um, notification that Antonio Brown was released by the New England Patriots. Uh, as quickly as he was picked up, and I have to say I'm sad for him, and I'm sad for the Patriots that took a chance on him. And I have to also say that, in my view, the media gaslight lit this. And what I mean by that is, okay, the question is, what's gaslighting, right? And gaslighting, the definition of gaslighting, I've got some catching up to do with the SoFi Stadium thing. The definition of gaslighting is to basically say that something is not what somebody else says it is. For example, uh, and the media does this. A lot of people do this quite a bit. Uh, oh, that's racist. Well, no, it's not racist. And why? Well, it's not. And then rather than, or if you explain how you think something is racist or how a person is being racist, they'll say, I'm not racist because I have Mexican friends, as opposed to, or, and then they'll talk about Mexican friends that they have, and they'll say Mexican as opposed to Latina, or but they won't talk about anybody black, and then or they'll talk about something that's um, of an orientation that is the gay and the LBGTQ community, but not black, and you'll say, well, I'm talking about a black issue, right? That's gaslighting, as opposed to listening to what the person says, even if you don't want to hear it. Or in the specific case of Antonio Brown, and I'm not saying that Antonio didn't do things that were stupid. He did. But there was concerted effort to pile on and, get rid of him. Um, and so basically I am actually going out now. The other thing too is I'm interested in what the NFL found in its investigation, because the Patriots were sticking with him all the way up until, a few minutes ago. And now I'm going to the NFL media website to see if the Patriots have released a statement, because the Patriots are very good at releasing it and releasing statements. And their press release for the game against the Jets alone is 68 pages. Okay, not the press release, but their media information announcement document is 68 pages long. Um, so I don't see. I see NFL transactions for 9/19. Today is the 20th. And let's see here. I don't see that this was done yesterday. Maybe even late. Oakland, by the way, got Justin Burris, defensive back out of North Carolina State, which you might know if you're a Raiders fan already. And no, this isn't anything that's come out. This is so brand new. It hasn't even been granted its own page on the NFL media website yet. But news releases, if I click on press releases, uh, week 3 injury report. Let's see, search Patriots. Patriots here. I know you're going to point me to Twitter, but I'm trying to find something that's a bit more non-jack, if you will. um, okay, here. Don't see that one. Club Plus releases right here. New England Patriots game release. Let's go to patriots.com. See what comes up there. Nope, nothing there. No new release other than what they posted on there. So having said that, I'm going to go to patriots.com and see if anything was posted there as well, and then check Antonio's site. I have to admit, I've never seen this before. I've never seen what just appeared to be just this dramatic, in-your-face public meltdown of a career. Okay, and uh, And that's the only way to describe it. I mean, it happened with Brown blowing up and accusing Bill Roethlisberger of not getting him the ball, of some wacko behavior around that. Let me see Patriots news. I'm on the Patriots website right now, and I'm waiting for the page to open for the news area. And scroll down right now. Still waiting for the site to render. They just have injury report for the Jets, and now it's the following injuries in practice. Statement. Here we go. Statement from the Patriots on Antonio Brown. Here is the statement, folks, that was just put on the website of the New England Patriots. I am going to share that statement with you right now, and here it is. Okay. Boom. Okay. Statement from a Patriots spokesperson. The New England Patriots are releasing Antonio Brown. We appreciate the hard work of many people over the past 11 days, but we feel that it is best to move in a different direction at this time. And that's it. You know, that's it. So what happened? Something happened. I don't think it was anything. There's always this tendency to assume it was something that we knew about, right? I think this is something we don't know about yet. First of all, here is something that was done by Sports Illustrated. I'm not going to present it because I think it's awful. I'll just talk about it. One of the writers there, Robert Clemenco, I believe, who's black, I might add, for those of you who might be thinking that, managed to get Brown in a kind of a four-way text message conversation. And Brown, allegedly, it was Brown, called this other woman who had complained, the one that did the painting for him in his house, and then proceed to call her a bunch of names and say, you know, you were broke and everything, and I helped you. He shouldn't have done that, and that's really what I think set in motion his being done in, because she said it was threatening, and what he was doing was insulting her. Now, on its surface, it was wrong to do periods, like my mom was saying. Is he some kind of fool? So the answer basically there is, yeah, he is some kind of fool. Okay. And I go back to what my friend sports agent Eric Metz had said, where he believed that, and this is really a lot of evidence toward what Eric was saying. He believes Eric believes that Antonio Brown has a CTE problem, and we talked about that the other time, and how you diagnose that. And some of you were saying, hey, that's something that only happens, and you can only diagnose until after you pass on. Well, I think it's quite clear that we have to have technology that diagnoses it while a person's alive, because the symptoms are certainly there. If you take the emotions out of it and you read his actions and how he popped off, like, it's not, hey, are you thinking? Stop, okay? And then, so there's clearly something wrong. And what I pray, and I say this, I do pray for him. I'm gonna say a prayer, because I hope he gets the help he needs. He is obviously in trouble, you know, and like Tiki Barber, and they're like, I'm so glad he's out of it, and I'm not. I don't think this says anything good about anything. Okay, no NFL team's gonna pick him up. All right, and I'm not happy that I'm not happy that he's out of the league. I think it's bad. It presented everything that is bad about the NFL front and center. When I say bad, I mean how the media is racially, how many players who are black really just sort of toe the line of an organization that's owned white, and they kind of seem to enjoy their role. And but I like Black Lions. This is what happens when you mess with Oakland. You get cut. Yeah, uh, that is funny. But the whole point is that rather than get him the help he needs, people seem to publicly delight in, you know, in slamming him. Okay, uh, and I don't think that's bad. That's not. That's a good thing. He obviously needs help, and we have to go with. I think Eric Metz was right on. He's got a CTE issue, and if he has a CTE issue, someone needs to talk to him about getting help for his brain and ask him how many concussions he's had over the years. This isn't something the NFL should just simply uh, take lightly. People joked about, Vontez Burfict and how his hitting Antonio Brown injured him. But hey, you know what? That yeah, I think someone says so. Yeah, some people realize Antonio's calling out for help. Yeah, he's calling out for help. Okay, and it's not his ego. There's nothing wrong with having a big ego. You have to have a big ego to survive in this society. This society is based on a lot of people building businesses, having confidence in themselves. That's ego. So for those of you out there criticizing ego, you need to check yourself. If you don't have ego, you can't provide for your family. If you don't have ego, you can't get what you're worth in the job market. If you don't have ego, you can't build a business. All right? You cannot build a business. So stop with this ego stuff. If you don't have big ego, I don't want to know you. I love people who have large egos. I love people who are confident. What's wrong with you that you can't? But I digress. I'm tired of that. Stop being small. Be big. And don't fear people who aren't afraid to be big. And enjoy that. It says nothing about you good when you come to my place or any place else and say, oh, he's got a big ego. What's wrong with you? You should have a big ego too. Stop it. All right, I'm off that. Coming back to the point here, because in what bothers me about this whole deal, okay, is that in particular is a scene on Jerry Maguire. And I don't know if anybody has seen Jerry Maguire. I've seen Jerry Maguire many times. I have it at home. But there was a woman who was interviewing this woman was interviewing an NFL player in a locker room, okay? This brother was butt naked. They had the camera from his backside, okay? And she was interviewing him, and I was trying not to look down. And then she dropped the mic, and so she was trying to find the mic without looking up, right? It was presented as a humorous scene. But compare that to the story from the woman that said that, first they described it as a sexual assault. It wasn't. And then it was an inappropriate incident. So I'm on that basis, are we supposed to take Antonio Brown being in his home, and she says, not being appropriately dressed, okay? In his case, and then basically say, hey, you know what? That Jerry Maguire scene was an inappropriate scene. See, that's what I'm saying here. And that's gaslighting. That was presented in an Academy Award winning movie as a funny scene. And yet this woman now says about basically the same kind of thing. Oh, that was, something vulgar and then Sports Illustrated said sexual assault. I thought that's not a sexual assault. But Sports Illustrated did that. They did that, okay? They did that. All right? So there has to be, we've gone off the deep end here in terms of having or getting to any place in our society where we can really have good and honest conversations. Good and honest conversations about anything in life. Everything has an agenda, right? Everything has a message. There's more powerful lawyers in PR. She had four, not one. She had four lawyers. Brittany Michael Taylor had four lawyers. And Adonis, I disagree. AB is not bad news for people. There are people, all right. All Antonio Brown wanted was, and again, I go back to this, okay? And I pray none of you is treated like he is in any station of life you choose to go into, all right? And again, because it's like people trying to push his buttons, you know? It's like they were trying to push his buttons. Like I still disagree with how Mike Mayock handled this. You don't find somebody that has an emotional reaction to their helmet, and yet that's what they did. And then instead of trying to handle it behind the scenes by calling him, Mayock goes to practice and puts himself, in his orbit, and then something happens. I wasn't there to see it, but it was an altercation, okay? It was a verbal altercation where Brown says, we talk man to man. Well, that wasn't the place to do that. But again, Mayock did not call him and say, hey, I really want to talk to you privately about this because I disagree with the way you presented it on Instagram. That's what people do. But see, Mayock was allowed to get away with that because in the court of public opinion, Antonio Brown is this bad guy, and he's black. I say that because someone pointed out on Twitter, and it was never answered, about the sexual allegations against Peyton Manning at Tennessee and how they were handled. So we had this racial double standard. There were clear problems there that were broomed, okay? Broomed. Let me give you another example. Taylor Lewan, the Tennessee Titans NFL draft pick, first round offensive tackle who's suspended for performance enhancing drug use, right? 6 years ago, he came out. I interviewed him. The previous Christmas, just around there after the Ohio State-Michigan game, he was alleged to have assaulted two people. He beat the crap out of them, all right, and was arrested for it. At the NFL draft, which I've covered now for about 15 years, okay, and don't see it is a race thing, okay, and don't get me started about this. You ought to know better. And don't gaslight me on this. You gaslight me on this, I'm going to block you, okay? Don't gaslight me. I'm not going to gaslight you. You don't gaslight me, okay? You listen to what I'm saying. So here's my point, because I've covered the NFL draft since 2005. So my point is this. Nobody, if you're white and you get arrested, they never ask you about the arrest. I changed that. Taylor Lewan walked in. This is on video with Zenny62 right here on YouTube. Taylor walks in. Everyone's, laughing. They had compared him to Richie Incognito during the draft process, but nobody asked him about that. So I rose my hand and said, Mr. Lewan, how does it feel to be compared to Richie Incognito? Oh, he didn't like that. Oh, he says, oh, that's funny. Bet you think it's about as funny as that tie, huh? I said, well, actually, I thought you were going to refer to my bald head, but there you go. All right. No. I was trying to stop the pattern of the media asking a black person about who's coming out of the draft about their arrest and not a white person. Okay? So there's this double standard that exists to this day, and it came to play in this instance. If you're black, you get treated twice as worse. And here's the thing. Antonio should have known that. But see, somewhere in Antonio's head, he got it, and I think Alvarado said AB's time of success could have been different. Julio Jones. Absolutely. Antonio made a great deal of mistakes. But where were the people to just say, hey, man, we need to talk with you? Okay? Yeah, Antonio should have known that. There are things that, we talk about as folks, and not only that, It is always a race issue. You have more interracial relationships and marriages than ever before. The white male or female that is in that relationship understands completely what I'm talking about. So this isn't something that's only a black conversation now. It's a conversation among those of us who are used to mixed relationships. Okay, because you have some other people who they don't know and they don't have experience with working with someone African American, so they have these stereotypes and prejudices they bring in, and the only way to unlearn them is to have people around you who are black. That's just a fact. People don't like to hear that. They'll gaslight you for it. Oh, you're saying it's a friend thing. Well, yeah, it is. Okay, it is. So, you see, some people are dropping because they don't want to hear me criticize and say bad things about Brown, or like, oh, he's going on this black thing or whatever. Whatever. Okay. Here's the point. Yes, Antonio Brown felt like he was entitled. Maybe he goes to the Jets. I don't. Or look at Sean Oakman. Right. Sean Oakman. Hey, Jamal, how you doing? Didn't get your email, by the way. But I think the lesson for Antonio Brown is this, and I'm going to say it, and it's going to be very harsh. It doesn't matter what station of life you rise to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good you are. There are people out there who, both black and white, are very willing like that to put you in what they feel your place should be. And I say black and white because, look, Charles Woodson on Twitter was like pissed off and, mad at me for basically coming to his defense and everything. And I love Charles Woodson wine. Still do, okay? Don't agree with him about Antonio Brown at all. And the reason why I'm really hard about that is because black athletes, this day and age, with the amount of money they want to command and the amount of power that they want to command, don't do it. Look at Antonio himself. You turn around, you look at who made Antonio's videos or his chefs or anything. You were lucky, okay? You were lucky to see someone black in a number of cases. Because I was thinking, God, does he have an issue with hiring black folks or something like that? Okay. But did I come on down on him and say I wish something bad had happened for him because of that? No, I didn't. All right, I didn't. We have to progress as a folks, as a people in the United States, where we become just like my Italian grammar school teacher, Mr. John Rizzo, Skyline High. I hope he's still with us. Beautiful man, okay? Beautiful man. I graduated from Skyline in 1980. And Mr. Rizzo would say, I'm Italian. I'm Italian. He was proud of his heritage. Now let's translate that. If somebody says, I'm black and I'm proud, and somebody thinks that's a threat, it's not. You should be proud of who you are. It's not a supremacy thing. You can be Italian, you can be Spanish, you can be Irish, Celtic. It doesn't matter. We all are different. That's a beautiful thing. Everybody should want to know about the other person's differences. You learn that way. It opens up your world. You see what I'm getting at? Somewhere in all this, we forgot that. It's like, hey, you had people you remember the whole colorblind thing? Well, you have to be colorblind. No, don't be colorblind. See color. See the kaleidoscope. It's really cool, man. It really is. But I digress. Coming back home. If you see the kaleidoscope, you can say, hey, Antonio, be proud of who you are. Yeah, man, dude. Don't assume that because you've got all this money, you can get on a private jet and fly to France, that you are what we used to call something, the super N-word, okay, back in the day. No. So from that standpoint, is this a good thing? I have to sadly say it is. Okay? I have to sadly say it is. Because he thought, as long as when the Patriots picked him up, something in him, he thanked the Lord, and you have to go back to the Lord and say, hey, what happened? What happened was he thanked the Lord, but he didn't get the message. Okay? the Lord gave him another shot, and he blew it with that text message thing. He blew it by answering calls. He blew it when his own attorney says, hey, you shouldn't be talking to people. All right? Let me read your comments. And so Cowboy says, Seattle Seahawks, you heard it first. Where will AB go? Mario says, you need to call it. He's a bad person. Pray for him. Hashtag need church. Well, Mario, he prays a lot. He says he believes in God. But look, I remind you of this. Jesus Christ died on the cross to save us from our sins. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. You can't perfect. You're not perfect. We're all not perfect. That's the lesson. And so I think Antonio got a big dose of that handed down by the Lord on to him today. Okay? And AB says maybe we'll go nowhere until the situation is resolved. Yeah, and I think that's what they needed to do because they have, and he says he denies the allegations, and I think he will be exonerated. Okay? I think he'll be exonerated, and he'll come back. Because keep in mind, not only were there not criminal charges filed at the time, but the statute of limitations passed. Okay? Oakland Rise says he's going to Dancing with the Stars. He might do that. He might do that. He might do that. But I pray to God he doesn't do anything rash. That's my biggest fear. That he does something rash. Okay? And I hope that he doesn't, I hope it doesn't translate into harming himself in any kind of way or anybody else. That is my biggest fear. It really is. And that's why I think the league, no one should sweep him aside. This is the time when people need to say, hey, you know what, brother? We're with you. We are praying for you to come back strong, be a better person, okay? And be the God-fearing person that you are, and take this as a message from the Lord that you need to change, you know? That, you know, don't be the person that attacks people or is quick to put them down when they ask you to stop. Hear them. Don't gaslight them. So we extend the whole gaslighting thing forward, right? Don't gaslight women. Because, yeah, maybe that wasn't a sexual assault thing, but it's quite clear that he was gaslighting them. That is 1,000,000% clear. All right, I pray to the Lord he gets the help he needs. I really do. God help the man, okay? Frozen says he should have known better than to sleep with this chick after the business proposal alleged by AB. Yeah, he should have. And then put her on a plane a bunch of different times. You have to watch out, okay, today. Because for some reason that I think personally is tied to social media, Cowboy says NFL Network Steelers reporters reporting the NFL executive told her that AB is crying for help. Wow. Huh. He's crying for help. Something, that's what I'm saying. Something happened, okay? Something happened. Something happened that we're just, wow, I don't want to cry. But something happened. Black Lion said it right. He has yes men, maybe yes people around him. People that, you know, because, and Leonard says, I think he really needs help, money, fame, and do outweigh character. He needs real help going through something. And Oakland Ron says, maybe it really is CTE related. I think it is, okay? Cowboy Rush says, I can't pronounce her name, but she's the one with Indian origin. Who are you talking about, Cowboy? Jay Black says he's being publicly lynched. Yeah, he is. And there was money behind this. And you say, how do I know that? Because of this. Look, you don't go into Sports Illustrated, okay, and Sports Illustrated writes this piece. Robert Kamiko writes this piece that really was journalistic malpractice. And I don't call myself a journalist for reasons like the one I'm presenting to you. It looked more like negative reputation management. And then he gets on Twitter and doubles down. He hasn't, like, a journalist is supposed to be objective. right? He was not objective. Robert was getting on there. He was saying, okay, well, if you're not going to call it um, uh, intimidating, what he wrote, then what would you call it? He's writing all this stuff on Twitter. So he's making it known that he has an emotional investment in what he wrote. That's not journalism. Journalism is supposed to be objective, right? That's why I say hey, look, I'm not a journalist. So I'm saying, hey, look, if you guys are going to do this sort of thing, is someone paying you to do this? Do you all collectively, as a media organization, have some emotional and monetary investment in this? Because they had a whole research team at Sports Illustrated that did this. That takes money. They're not going to say, oh, well, don't pay me. I'll do the research. These folks are getting paid. All right? Okay? They're getting paid. And it's not like they're going to make that money strictly from, ad revenues, because there's some people who don't want their ads associated with this kind of story. Let me tell you. Okay? No. But Arturo says AB thought he was above everyone. Yeah. And Arturo says, no, he's not. Yeah. And Arturo, he is above being publicly lynched. Okay? I mean, Jay Block's got it right. Don't gaslight him. Don't say, no, he's not. He is. Okay? It's not right. Remember, two wrongs don't make a right in this situation. There are no heroes here. There are no heroes or sheroes. Okay? Praying people still sin. Yeah. Brown lost his Nike. Yeah, he lost his Nike deal because they didn't want to deal with negative press. Nike's sensitive like that. I mean, Nike lost. They dropped Tiger Woods. They got him back, right? Okay. So that's standard fare for Nike. I expect that. They don't want to be attached to that. They're hypersensitive. The league is hypersensitive. And this doesn't rise to the situation of Ray Rice at all. But what happens and what we're talking about, is reflected in what you just wrote. I think basically where they said that he needs help. Let me go and check NFL Network on Twitter here, see what's happening, and see what the worldwide trends are. It's Free Code Friday. Oh, number 6, damn AB. 12,800 tweets under damn AB. Like, damn AB. So let's see here. We've got rich people stick together. Yeah, wow, he is his own nemesis. Why is damn AB trending? Obviously, you're not Raider fans. Raider and Steel fans like damn AB. Let me show you this. Let me show you what I'm talking about here, okay? This is damn AB. All right. Damn AB. Damn AB. Almost pulled it off. Should have just got your $30 million in Oakland. Damn AB. Antonio Brown. Patriots all-time leaders. Damn AB is a perfect phrase. So Antonio Brown was a friend of mine. Damn AB, the curse is real. So AB going further downhill. Karma. Man, oh man. It's, yeah, I love what this comment said it the best, okay? And, geez Louise. This comment said it the best. It said, Charity Brown writes, people need to stop acting as if they are sin-free. Some of you haters on here most likely have skeletons in your closet that no one knows about because you are not on the stage. Now sit back and think about that for a moment. She's absolutely right. I'm telling you, look, I am hired to do reputation management. I'm open about the clients that I take in. And the reason why it's a growing business is because somebody else out there is telling their story in a way that they don't want. And this is all online, folks. Some of it's on television, but it's all online. and it happens, and it's horrible. It's horrible. I'm to the point now where I counsel people about how to change, how to monitor. Google your name. Ask yourself, you like what you see, okay? And if you don't, hey, look, I'll tell you for free how to straighten stuff out. Because the bottom line is there's always somebody around that wants to gaslight you. And I'm telling you something, here's the horrible truth. More often than not, the reasons for it are awful. They're terrible, and they're small. We have a hypersensitive society here. Just be nice to people, okay? Because some of you get on here and some of you use your real names, you write bad stuff. Don't do that. If there's something you're going to write that you would never say on video, here's a hint. Don't say it. What got Antonio Brown into trouble was the same thing I'm telling you about. What he wrote in text was mean. It was putting people down. You don't do that. Because that person thinks, oh yeah, I'm gonna get you, sucker, to quote a phrase from the movie. And they got him. Okay? These are women with kids. Well, I don't know about Britney. She doesn't have kids, but the other woman did. The painter, she had kids. You don't make fun of a mother. No, okay? Not at all. So Alvaro Delgado says, I think Brown's ego told him to win the game of ego in society. He knew he was fighting for cause. I think EB is very smart. I don't think he's very smart. But here's the thing. We're all smart in some kind of ways. We're all dumb in others. I think he's smart when it has to do with marketing himself, manipulating body, and using social media. But I think where he is not dumb, where he's dumb, is in not knowing how to control his emotions. Okay? Okay? So, all right. So Black Lion says, we can hate all we want on someone who did our team dirty. What are you talking about? Well, I don't think you can hate on anybody. Because I can argue that the Raiders did him dirty. He had a helmet problem. He reacted to it emotionally. Then they turned around and fined him. After saying, hey, we've got your back. You don't prove to someone you got their back by fining them. That means you don't have their back at all. It means you're lying. Okay? Black Lion, think of it this way. Suppose the Raiders had not done that. I ask you, will we be walking this path right now? I argue no. Now some of you others say, well, should we treat him different from other people? Well, here's the reason. Because you offered him more money than others. You don't have your cake and eat it too. You don't say, well, I'm going to get rid of the rules because they suit me. And that's essentially what was done in the Raiders case. I still 1 billion% disagree with the way Mike Mayock handled that situation and the Raiders by extension. Period. What happened to Antonio Brown during this course does not exonerate the Raiders in any way. Okay? It does not exonerate the Raiders. The Raiders could have been his help. Instead, they just became some other organization that was poking the bear. Why? Oh, he has to learn the dance. Well, learn the dance for what? You're paying him $30 million. You're getting a special case. You know he's a different person, and yet you're going to try to normalize him? Really? Okay? So again, there are no heroes here. None at all. Okay? None. So, somber tone. Arturo says something Arturo, whatever you wrote, my system doesn't want to have it presented, so you have to take it down and rewrite it, okay? And that's not me. That was the automatic system, okay? David says, you cannot provide help to someone who believes they don't need it. David, that's interesting, okay? Because now what is said is he's saying he needs help, okay? So he's saying he wants help. So obviously there's something in him that's crying out for help, all right? There's something in him that's crying out for help. And I'm only going by what I'm reporting. I'm now, there's the AB. If I type AB in Twitter, what I get are the AB texts, okay? And AB's, see, here's the thing. This is a beautiful tweet. Look at this. This is a beautiful tweet, all right? AB got to be smart, fam. Can't be lashing out on texts. You trying to defend your name, but come on, bro. Got to be smarter. All right? Okay? So, this dude AB has no situational awareness at all. I was under the impression that the texts were from a while ago, not from last week. This dude is an idiot. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I can't defend this. For the difference, he stopped being stupid and actually working his blood off to be a better person, like AB continues to be a blank ass. You should be ashamed of himself. You know, da, da, da. Okay. Was it not the media who went digging for everything they could find him? Yes, this is why I agree. Was it not the media who went digging? This is Sports Illustrated, who went digging for everything they could find or make up about AB? Yep. That's where it all started. Had they not done that, those texts don't get sent. Texts, which, by the way, have nothing intimidating about it. Right. And that speaks to Robert Clemenko in Sports Illustrated, okay? And so they say, yes, media made him text and harass someone. I've seen you post on everything about AB. And this is where I see this person's calling somebody a name. Don't do that. Not delusional. That's gaslighting, okay? See? This is gaslighting. Don't gaslight. Don't gaslight, okay? It's gaslighting. Delusional. All right? Okay? So my point is there's a lot of gaslighting, folks. A lot of people don't want to hear the other side. They just want to flame. Oh, you can't possibly think that. Oh, you're insane. You know? So it's sad day. And no, it's not strong journalism, okay? No. Not journalism. Not journalism. Not journalism. Nothing objective. I'm writing about nothing objective or appropriate about the media play. Smacks of negative reputation management against an NFL player by a media company. That's what I wrote. I wrote this. This is what I wrote. Okay? All right? I wrote this. Okay? Not journalism, nothing objective or appropriate about the media play. Smacks some negative reputation management against an NFL player by a media company. That's how I feel. It was awful. I've seen this sort of thing done before. It was done to Geno Smith. Geno Smith, this is how these things start. Geno Smith, who's still a quarterback in the league, was the second round pick of the Jets. He's supposed to be first round, but he fell. And he was upset about that. So along the way down the draft line, as the day went on, right, he fired his agents. His agents then went on a smear campaign about him. And they got people that I know who worked for publications at the time like Bleacher Report to write negative stuff about him. Okay? And I told Geno about this. I said, Geno, you need to be smart because there are people who don't want you to act like the black guy in charge. You have a right to fire your agents, but your agents badmouthed you. What you should have done was called your agents out, okay? 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 So, okay? So, okay? So, okay? Okay? So, that's it. Um, this is what I'm writing back to Peter King, okay? Like this. He says, truth hurts, all right? I said, except that there's much that's not true and engineered. I have not done that in my media company. In my media company. And that's what I wrote back, okay? Period. Okay? Okay? Except that there's much that's not true and engineered. I have not done that in my media company. And I wouldn't. So it's not journalism at all. Okay? It's a negative, and Peter just kind of doubled down though. He says, well, he says the truth hurts. Well, what's the truth? Okay, and if I had Peter, I would have stayed out of that. That's like, you know what? Stay out. I mean, stay out. Because my point is, are you really trying to, when you do that, what are you trying to do to somebody else's life? That's the sad part about the whole thing. It's like they're actively interested in destroying the man, okay, as opposed to having a how would I say it, a balanced view, right? Having a balanced view of the situation. It's not there at all. At all. Not there at all. So again, I've seen this done with Geno Smith to a degree. I've seen it done with a number of black NFL players. All right, and I'm saying, and Antonio Brown does need help, definitely, but for a media organization to pile on the way Sports Illustrated did, I thought was completely irresponsible. Okay, it just was. It was completely irresponsible. And again, I would have not handled it that way. And I wouldn't have done that. They might have thought they were doing somebody a favor, maybe the league. Wouldn't surprise me, but no. At some point, you have to say, what are you trying to accomplish? All right? And, Peter seems quite happy. That's telling, all right? Cowboy wrestlers, Odell Beckham. Yeah, there's another Odell Beckham. All right? Jordan says, you Raiders look very smart to get rid of Antonio Brown now. I don't think so. Because again, Jordan, the way it was handled, I said this before, maybe you weren't here, I'll say it again. The way Mike Mayock handled that situation was not ideal. You don't find someone whose side you claim to be on with respect to the helmet situation. If you're on his side and he skips practice, first of all, you don't go announcing to the world, oh, he's left and we're going to have to take a hard line. You say he left for personal reasons and we expect him back. And then you turn off and you handle it back channel. Okay, so um, I think that if the Raiders had Antonio Brown on the team, they'd have beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's how excited. That's how much work John Gruden put into building a game plan for Antonio Brown. Okay, Antonio Brown was a speed merchant the Raiders needed against the Chiefs, and he knew it. He knew it. And so that's why he was trying to do everything he could to at least hold on. It's like, hold on, right? Just hold on, right? And yet Mike Mayock's got his own game plan. All right. So Cowboy Rush says, for the record, I call ESPN the ABC Sports Network because they essentially stole ABC Sports, the real home of Monday Night Football. Well, now, Cap Cities owns both, okay? And the real person who makes the call is Bob Iger. Disney owns the whole thing. So really, you have to think about this as a Disney play, okay? And Disney is not going to put up with that, okay? That's just the way that is. So again, I pray that Antonio Brown gets the help he needs. I really do, and I really pray that he does, and I pray that at some point, we come to a place, okay, a place where we think that we see that people should not be demonized, but they should receive the help that they need to overcome their problems. And he said all AB had to do was go and play for the team that gave him. Actually, they didn't give him any money at all. That was the whole thing about the Raiders deal. They hadn't given him anything at all. Okay, so they had not given him a thing. All right. They hadn't given him a thing. Remember that. But, and again, Black Lion, I disagree with the Raiders, the way the Raiders handled it. It's like, hey, if he has a problem with his helmet, he's going to react emotionally. It should tell you don't do anything else to set him off. That's all I'm saying. You don't find the man. And then if you find him, you call him up and say, hey, look, I saw you posted this on Instagram. Let's handle this back channel. All right? And what can we do to make it? He says, well, can you please drop the fines? Okay, we'll drop the fine because we understood that you were upset. But you have to remember that in the future, going forward, if you miss a practice, we're going to fine you. Okay? I understand that was a special case. You were concerned about this helmet issue, everything else. I get that. Okay? I get that. But, all right? Okay? Hey, 32 Assassin, how you doing? I'm not saying that this is not a zero-sum game here. In other words, for me, it's not that somebody wins and somebody loses. Everybody loses. So Brown didn't handle... Look, there's no question that Antonio didn't handle certain situations right. But my point is, you don't react. All right? Just like Peter King, he could have just left it alone. But see, he just basically confirmed what I always believed. They weren't acting as journalists. They were acting as reputation management people. It's not that the truth hurts. It reflects why people... Yeah, Cowboys, I expect better from a guy like Peter King. Yeah, me too. It shows why people say that journalism is dead. You just saw it right there, okay? You just saw it right there. People, you saw it, okay? And many people, there's an effort called Save Journalism that I've helped put out their press releases. But when you look at what they're talking about, it's like, wait a minute, who are we saving? All right, who are we saving? We're saving some of the same organizations that have done a great disservice in terms of storytelling to the Black experience, all right? And when they gave a press conference, the Save Journalism people, they had no one black on their panel. Nobody. There was one person in the room who was Latino, and a Latino pointed that out. Okay. But coming back to AB, I think AB's got a CTE issue, and so it's not a laughing matter. And again, when people react that way, if you feel like they've got emotional problems, you don't poke the bear. You don't say, "I'm going to fine you," and you have to learn to dance. Well, what? I mean, that's crazy stuff. Okay, it just is. That is just absolutely crazy stuff. Okay. All right. So again, I don't. You can like a team organization, love an organization, but Joseph says, "Do I see him going to another team?" I think we have to take one thing at a time. And I'm going to go with what my friend Eric Metz said about his head issues. And not only that, if it is the case that he is asking for help, we have to deal with that first. Let's make sure that he gets the help he needs so that he clears that. I mean, if it's true that he says he's asking for help, then let's make sure that he gets that help. And I certainly hope there are media organizations out there that are supportive of that, rather than the Peter Kings of the world who seem like they're quick to want to burn people. Bad stuff, man. Bad stuff. Okay, so let's hope that's the case. All right. And so this is the wrong, Jordan, this is the wrong title for that. Okay. When I'm ready to talk about that, I'll put it up there. And not only that, I can tell you in quick succession, the Coca-Cola deal is not Coca-Cola. It is a distributor of Coca-Cola. It is not Coca-Cola. Let's get that out of the way. And that explains why the Coca-Cola people here in Atlanta didn't know about it. It's a distributorship that did it, which tells me three things. First, it's not Coca-Cola. All right. A. B. It is not a founding partner sponsorship, which means C, that it's probably 5 million, maybe 10 million at best, and that's it. They're pouring rights for a distributorship. Let's get that out of the way. Okay? This is not Coca-Cola putting its name, gigantic name, on the stadium. That press release is very clear. And the person that claimed to bring the information to me, I said, "Hey, look, I don't know you. I don't know your name. I don't know what you do. I know that you have 3 different Twitter accounts that you contact me by from the same location. Period." Okay? All right? So, no, the Raiders have the business acumen to do it because they're involved with Jerry Jones now. All right? Pure and simple. Okay? So I don't agree there. All right, I don't agree. And I think this is a whole isolated thing. With as far as Antonio Brown is concerned, there was a mistake made, and so be it. It doesn't mean that Mayock's a bad guy, even though I did call for him to be fired. But I was so not happy about what he did. Okay, I was so not happy he did. Okay, at all. Okay. I would. No way. I'm writing a reaction, a response here. Okay. On his show, I'm writing. I see Zinni's point, or I see my point is I saw on his show that that the SI work used hyperbole rather than the truth. So it looked like they were targeting AB. I'm just writing this AB rather than just dealing with facts. Okay. Hyper. Okay. There. Okay. So there you go. All right. All right. So anyway, it's just sad. Oh, I want him to get help. I don't want anybody to sign Antonio Brown. I want him to get the help that he needs. If he said I need help, if he's crying for help, something happened. And that's what I want to hear about. That's worth reporting. Something happened. Okay. Something happened, and okay, something happened. So just plain out, something happened, and I think what happened was they probably said, okay, let's give him the help he needs. You can't get somebody the help they need. And Baumgold said it right here. This is the best comment I've heard. And I agree with this right here. I really agree with this. Look at this. My boss said Vontaze Burfict hit him, and AB has been loony ever since. And not only that, I'll go a step further. I don't think his being on Dancing with the Stars helped him. I think it actually hurt him. And the reason I believe it actually hurt him was that it solidified the person that he was, including the bad parts of him. Okay, and so instead of Dancing with the Stars satisfying his need for adulation, all right, I agree with Baumgold. Yeah, instead of it satisfying his need for adulation, like, okay, I'm done, I'm cool, right? He wanted more. It's kind of like the amazing absorbing man in the incredible the Hulk movie with Eric Bana as Bruce Banner / the Hulk, right? I mean, the story was hokey. I mean, his dad was the absorbing man. It was kind of like, what? But that aside, toward the end of the movie, the absorbing man was absorbing everything. He wanted more, and he wanted his son's strength. But his son's strength drew from anger. He was literally converting his anger into energy. And so his son, as the Hulk, was like, oh, you want to take it all, okay? And it destroyed him. Because he was trying to feed himself. He was trying to feed his own desires for more power, that it destroyed him, okay? And I think what happened was that with Antonio, unfortunately, it fed his desire for adulation to a point that was almost unquenchable. And it did him in. And that, so it's those combination of things, I think, what contributed to what we're talking about today. Yeah, thank you, Baumgart. It was, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. Going back to Sean Stone says the bigger news coming in Nike NFL, no Florida Chargers coming against. Sean Stone, you complained. You said there's no Florida Chargers coming, or you said they know Florida Chargers. Apparently there aren't. Dave says there might be suffering from CTE. That's what Eric Metz said on my first video about this, and I think Eric is proving to be a genius. Okay, yeah, and I'm sorry, Legends, I missed your comment. Let me go back and get that, and then I'm gonna. Sorry, I was going to see Ad Astra myself. Jerry Rice would have never done anything. No, Jerry Rice would have never. No, he wouldn't have. Of course not. But what I'm talking about is you're talking about Jerry Rice. See, here's the thing, okay? BT says he's suffering from a woman scorned. That's it. Look, when I was talking about Antonio Brown, I'm talking about everybody reacts to things differently through their own stations in life. Keep in mind that the difference between between Jerry Rice and Antonio Brown is that Jerry Rice went to Dancing with the Stars after he played, okay? After he played. Antonio Brown was put on Dancing with the Stars during his employment. So he's already a big star, and this makes him bigger. Okay? Jerry Rice is older. Yeah, Jerry Rice had maturity, but Jerry Rice is older. I don't think comparing Jerry Rice to Antonio Brown is appropriate. I think it's wrong. That's me. I'm not trying to shut anybody down from doing it. My opinion, it's wrong. Okay? Period. Okay? All right? It's period. Okay? So, that's it. Okay? So again, in my media company, I would handle it like I'm handling it now. We have a forum and we talk about it. We have different views. I have other people on this site, like, they're going to have their view. Fine. And that's how you do it. Okay? Because there's all aspects of society that come to play here. Black Lion says, yeah, but Rice was a diva too. But wait a minute. Why do you guys say that? Like, Black Lion, I don't know your real name, but my point is, why do you use that term? Okay? I don't understand that. I'm trying to understand, why do you feel the need to, like, distill people into one thing? Like, oh, that person's of this, or that person's of that. And I'm asking you, do you like it when people, talk about you like that? Or you're a this or a that? What I'm saying is there are more complex reasons for why a person does what they do. And many of you who throw out these insults, you don't want to be called what you're doing. And you do so by text. In other words, here's my point. Okay, here's my point. My point is, the same thing that got Antonio Brown into trouble is what you're doing now. You're tweeting out, you're putting out text messages, okay, that are insulting. You're not using your face to say them, but in a camera, and I'm not going to read them from those of you who don't normally visit my site here now, but you're doing it. Two wrongs do not make a right. Okay, two wrongs do not make a right. Again, I've said this, I'm going to say this again and again and again. I pray that Antonio Brown gets the help he needs. Because, and BT has said another great comment, he needs a mentor to set him down. Yes, he does. He really does. He needs a mentor to sit him down. And not only that, I think this is a milestone in the black community. And I'm not a person who's like, oh, I'm like major representative of black folks and all this stuff, right? I'm not saying that. But I am black. BT says maybe Deion Sanders should sit down with him. I think so. But here's my point. It's a wonderful opportunity to talk about a number of issues. How we don't talk about, it's not just the sexual issue, right? But also on the flip side, how some of our own women pursue our own men for money and don't treat them right. How some of those men don't understand how to discern those women. How some of those men act inappropriately toward those women and say things that are wrong. Okay? These are major problems in our community that we don't talk about. And now guess what? The Lord has given us this opportunity to have this writ large and say, you know what? We need to talk about this stuff. We need to talk about this stuff because this isn't just an Antonio Brown problem. Some of you mentioned other people. That's why I say don't bring Jerry Rice into this, because Jerry Rice, I like Jerry. Jerry's got a big ego. I like that. Big egos cause people to do great big things. Fine, okay? People says this whole situation was a setup. I agree. I agree. This wasn't clean, okay? This wasn't clean. This wasn't, all right? As cowboy wrestler very presciently wrote, a Shakespearean tragedy. I could not agree more. A Shakespearean tragedy of massive proportions. Okay, massive proportions. All right. Uh, and BT says Jerry had women. No, no, he, no, I don't. Um, Again, there's this desire to stereotype that I patently attack. Jerry Rice didn't have women, okay? Oh, he's got women. In fact, the person writing this, do you have women? I'm just wondering. This is the kind of language that comes over here. It's like wild, man. Oh, you got women's. You got women. Oh, come on. And then I have to also, remind myself that not everybody here is the same age. You have some people who are 14, some people who are 24, some 44, some 54, some 64. You have a range. Beautiful range. Sad story, though, folks. A very, very sad story of a man who I cannot say this enough. I hope gets the help he so sorely needs and reportedly has asked for. Let me see something if I can get, if I can find some reasonable. BT says it's not CT, it's psychological and sociological. Why not? Why not all of that? Why does it have to be either or? Okay. In other words, my point is, again, I go back to this. Okay. Why not? All right. Why not? I go back to this. Why not look at it this way? Hey, psychological and sociological situations combined with CTE triggered this, combined with his own walk and his own personality, triggered this, okay? And that's why, again, I know a lot of you don't agree with me, but I don't agree with the way the Raiders handled it. Greg says, so he needs a PET scan or a mentor? He needs both. Both. It's a great question, Gregory. He needs both. Okay? He needs both, okay? 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 So, hey, again, it's sad. It's just completely sad, all right? Okay? Okay? Whew. Okay? And again, I write this, not journalism. Nothing objective or appropriate about the media play. Smacks of negative reputation management against an NFL player by a media company. That's all I wrote. That was my observation. There was nothing insulting about it. Just straight up. I'm not Edward R. Murrow. I don't play Edward R. Murrow on television. But my point is this, and that's why I say I'm a blogger, not a journalist. If you're going to embark on a story, it is incumbent upon you to tell us exactly where you're coming from. What's your emotions about this? Pino asks, he says, have you noticed that, what was the comment here? Have you noticed NFL players haven't supported him? No, actually, I haven't. Derek Carr said, hey, I hope I support him. He's a brother. So no, I haven't. No, not at all. You have to remember something, all right? And not only that, there is the NFLPA, okay? He needs a veteran that has been down this road like Warren Sapp. Yeah, absolutely. BT's making some spot-on comments, all right? Jamal K.R. says, those celebrities aren't helping him at all. He needs someone who can help keep it real with him. Yes, absolutely. Glover says, karma catches up with you. Even if you don't believe in it, it believes in you. As much as I don't agree with him, I agree with him. Okay. Cowboy versus BT, the ding, ding, ding. Yeah. But Jamal K. Harris says he needs positive people around him. That's right. And Gregory, yeah, he needs both a PET scan and a mentor. Definitely. Okay. Definitely does. So again, let's just, keep positive thoughts for the man, not negative thoughts. If he's crying for help, don't leave him out there saying, making fun of him. Think of it this way. How would you like it if whatever mistake you made in life were brought up for the world to see, writ large? And, did you do the appropriate mea culpa? Did you need to? Was it something that wasn't your fault? But it's a tough situation to be in, okay? But okay, that's a tough situation we're in. I started my own media company because people were, and in other media organizations, as you can see, were consistently, more often than not, telling mistruths about other people and situations. Mistruths. Those organizations may not like what the person had to say, but at least let them say it. Those organizations may have more money and reach, but that doesn't mean they should demonize the people. False narratives rule the day today. In all walks of life, false narratives rule the day. You saw what Peter King wrote. He said, truth hurts. Whose truth, Peter? Whose truth? Are you saying that, Sports Illustrated has the absolute truth? I hope not. I like you, Peter. Nothing personal. Just asking. You should know, Godfather. Okay? BT says, many women want to ruin a man can do it and lie. Right. And see, that's where Antonio was wrong. You don't flame a woman, in text. In that situation, it was like, dude, what are you doing? Stop. But see, that gets to where he believes he's untouchable. He got touched. Okay? And that also points to something going on up here where he's lost focus. Okay? Raider Gann says, I honestly hope AB is all right. Everyone is going after him and mentally is acting very similar to Junior Seau. Yes, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Why poke the bear? Haven't we learned enough from this? Why do that? It's like bullying. You know what it's like? It reminds me of? It reminds me of the raison d'etre behind all of those movies about the kid that gets bullied in school, the latest being Brightburn, okay? Except in that case, the kid was an alien who was getting bullied and did some terrible things to the people that were bullying him, okay? But the point is, he was being bullied. So we have Antonio being bullied by the system, but instead of realizing that's wrong, he's bullying other people. Bullying is bad, folks. You don't bully. You then got the media bullying him and telling him, Peter said the truth is out there. Come on, man. You gonna bully us with your point of view? Oh, awful stuff. Oh, my Lord. Awful stuff. Like I said, this is not a zero-sum game where someone wins and someone loses. Everybody loses. The Patriots lost a productive member of their team. The Raiders lost a productive member of their team. They never got a chance to see him on the field. The Steelers lost a productive member of their team, okay? And now so did the NFL, at least it would seem. Jeff Eisman says that's what lawyers are for. Greg Adams says people need to stop throwing CTE around like it's a common cold. Hey, Greg, first of all, the person and you don't regularly watch my show, but Eric Metz, who is a famous NFL agent, advanced that to me. He said I can use that as I want, and I did. So that's Eric, I think, has been around long enough to know when he thinks that an athlete has a problem. Because I talked to him about it. I grilled him. I said, hey, are you sure? He goes, look, dude, I have seen this too many times before. Okay? So it's not, Greg, it's not like a common cold thing. There is a problem. Things happen to your brain, okay? And you say Junior Seau didn't act like this, but hey, look, Junior Seau didn't have social media either. How would Junior Seau have been with Instagram and everything else, okay? I'm explaining to you that this new form of media has a psychological impact on people. And for the most part, a lot of cases, it's not good. It produces isolation and loneliness. and feelings of inadequacy. Because someone else is out there showing you their best life. Okay? Although my friend Hermione Way says that the trend now is to show people dealing with their worst life. I present to you Antonio Brown. BT says many NFL stars have a lot of women, but they must be wise about who they interact with. All right, a lot of NFL stars didn't have a lot of women, but BT, they must be careful about who they interact with. And I present to you a personal example. My cousin, the late Fred Lane Jr., running back for the Carolina Panthers and the Indianapolis Colts, who my family told not to date Deidre. He dated her and married her, and she shot him and tried to take his money and claimed it was domestic violence, but an investigation found it wasn't, and she went to jail. And then, oh, by the way, on the way to jail, she tried to rob a bank. So do you now understand my reaction? All right. Yeah. Talked to him just a little bit before. Also, I gotta. One moment, please. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah. Hey. I'm sorry. I'm back. There was a motion detector, and I had to see what was going on outside. Because I wasn't expecting anything, and everything's cool. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. No, it was very difficult, and I talked to Fred like 2 months before that happened, just to say hello, because I was working on trying to bring the Super Bowl to Oakland at the time. So, we're all busy, and hey, man, we're going to get together one day, and that one day never happened. So that's why I react the way that I do. Everybody has a story. And when I hear about incidents like this, I go back to that, and he was a great player and a great person. But the family told him, don't date that girl. And I remember that everybody's concerned about who he was dating at the time. They told him, and he didn't listen. Okay? So that's why when I say, someone like Peter King is like the truth. The truth is that there are a number of us, when something like what happens to Antonio Brown happens, his family and his relationships are affected too. He affects his loved ones. And thank God he's alive as opposed to getting shot. Suppose the women he were messing around with had turned around and did that, okay? So yeah, he needs to get help, but he also needs to be counseled on who to work with and who to avoid. And not only that, here's my thing. The NFL needs to handle its players like Hollywood had the studio system. All right? And the studio system was, hey, you are packaged for this movie and that movie, and you go here and there, and you date who we tell you to. They had your life under control. The NFL needs to adopt that for its players. It shouldn't just have its players come in and say, we're giving you a lot of money, and that's it, and then cast them to the 4 wins. The NFL money, and that's it, and then cast them to the 4 wins. The NFL needs to control the lives of the players in a good way, okay? And BT, I know about the rookie camp is nothing. That's nothing. When I say control, I mean like have their own website to instruct you who to date, who to watch out for. I'm talking about a continuous infrastructure. Oh, BT says it's a joke. I get it. Okay. Gotcha. BT says it's a joke. I get it. Okay. Gotcha. I gotcha. All right, folks, I've got to go. I've been out for, handlers. That's it, Jeff. Players need handlers. They're young. You're taking young African-American males from out of the worst social situations and economic situations. You're giving them a ton of money, and you're expecting them to just be adjusted? Really? No. All right, folks. We'll see you. And God bless you, too. God bless everybody. We don't have to agree on everything, but we just have to talk and listen to each other. See you all later.